everyone, welcome back to BloomTV, it's Annie, and today I am going to do my September wrap-up for 2014, that is right. Whew, I need to get back into the swing of doing these videos. So, I have actually already filmed this and it went terribly wrong, so I'm refilming it now, woohoo! And I read 12 books in September, which is crazy because I started my final year of secondary school or high school in America, and it's my most important year because it's the year before I go to college or university. And yeah, busyness, but I still managed to read loads. I don't know why that is. But anyway, let's get on to the actual books I read. And I only have one physical book here with me today because the rest of them were library books, and that is Mouse, volumes 1 and 2 by Art Spiegelman. And this is a graphic novel about the Holocaust, written from the Art Spiegelman's point of view, but it's telling the story of his parents, who are Holocaust survivors, and they are Jewish, as the main percentage of people that were affected by the Holocaust were. And this was really good. I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads, but I had 2 problems with it. The first one was that in this graphic novel, the Nazis are depicted as cats and the Jewish are depicted as mice. And I just think this kind of like metaphor that Art Spiegelman used really could have been taken so much further in the book, and I just thought it was only used in a very simple way, and it really could have been taken further, which would have like kind of added more to the story, I think. And the second thing was the art style, and it was very like traditional. I'll show you an example. So here's an example of the art style, and that's like great, and I don't have a massive complaint, but it's just not my favourite kind of like art style to read, if that makes sense. That doesn't make sense, but it's not my favourite art style, but I still really enjoyed this, giving it 4 stars, and I think it's a really important book as well. I think it won the Pulitzer Prize. Wait, let me just check. Winner of the Pulitzer Prize. There, yes, so it is obviously considered an important book by lots of people, not just me. And then the next book I read was Speak by Laurie House Anderson, and I also gave this 4 stars. And this is about a girl who's in her freshman year of high school in America, and she is kind of having trouble starting school. Something happened to her over the summer, and it's something she hasn't spoken about to anybody, and she's even having trouble thinking about it herself. And she doesn't speak. She's a mute, and she really finds it difficult speaking. And it's kind of about her journey over her first year in high school and kind of how she learns to deal with this problem, and you as a reader discover more about it. And I did enjoy it. I think it covered a really important issue, especially for the time that it was published, which wasn't even that long ago. It was like, I'd say 12 years ago. But yeah, and I really love Laurie House Anderson, but this was definitely my least favourite book of hers that I read, even though I gave it 4 stars. And then the next 2 books I read were ones that I was really looking forward to, and that is The Raven Boys and The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiefvater, and they're the first 2 books in the Raven Cycle series, of which the 3rd book is coming out in October, I think, or November, sometime soon. And yeah, I just really enjoyed them. I really enjoyed The Raven Boys. I think I gave it 3.75, but then I only gave The Dream Thieves 3 or 3.5 because I just didn't like it as much, but I still really enjoyed them, and I really like Maggie Stiefvater as an author. I've loved or really enjoyed nearly all of the books that she's published, most of which I've read, obviously. But I did really enjoy these, and definitely prefer them over the Shiver trilogy, which I did really enjoy. But they're kind of in between the Scorpio Races, which is my absolute favourite book of hers, and the Shiver trilogy. Like in between, in the middle. But I really like them, and I really like the characters of Ivy and Noah and Gansey. They're my favourite characters. No, what am I talking about? Ivy? Blue. Blue is her name. What? My mind today has just gone. And then the next book I read was Lobsters by Tom Allen and Lucy Iverson, and this is a kind of new UK released YA contemporary book, and I haven't really seen anyone talking about it on BookTube, and I think that is purely because I'm not sure if it's been released in America yet, or if it has, I don't think there's been a massive publicity campaign for it. I think it's like both of their debut books. I think they seem pretty young. I don't know I don't know why I think that, but I thought that they were. And anyway, Lobsters is about 2 characters. It's about, oh my gosh, a boy called Sam and a girl called Hannah, and they are both Pardon me, I'm so ill. I'm really sorry. But they are both in their final year of sixth form, and it's the summer after they finish their exams. So it goes along and follows the events of this summer and the build up to them going to university. Are they even going to get into university at all? And like their grades and just life in general. And it was quite good, but I'd heard really positive things about it from a couple of people, and that kind of really raised my expectations. So I only gave this 3 stars or 3.5 I think, because I just didn't love it. But I still did quite enjoy it, and I finished it in a day, so it was a super quick read. And then the next 3 books I read were the 3 books in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy by Laini Taylor. The first one being Daughter of Smoke and Bone, the second one Days of Blood and Starlight, and the third one Dreams of Gods and Monsters. And I kind of read these sporadically over the month and really enjoyed them. I gave each of them 4 stars, and I definitely really loved the first one and really loved the third one. I was a bit iffy about the second one. I didn't enjoy it quite as much, but they were really good. These are kind of urban/epic fantasy books. The first book follows Karoo, who is kind of been raised by this kind of unusual family, and she doesn't really know who her true parents are or where her family and her real family come from, or even her surrogate family. She doesn't really know much about them apart from this one room that she always sees them in, and the room where she was raised. And she is an art student, so she's very familiar with the mortal world, but not as much with this world that her surrogate family come from. And then one really tragic event happens, and it just follows the events that happen after this and Carrie's journey. And it is just such a fantastic trilogy. It is really well crafted. The writing is really beautiful. And also the world building, definitely in the third and like the second half of the second book, is just amazing. I'm not sure if I'd go out and buy them, but like they're not on my priority list to buy, but I definitely did really enjoy them, and I gave them 4 stars each, which I think I've already said. But then the next book I read was The Demon King by Cinda Williams Chimer, and oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. The Demon King is an first book in an epic fantasy series, I think, for young adults, and oh gosh, so sorry. And that's it, I encourage. Just be ill in all the video. And it follows 2 points of view, and I don't really want to say too much about it because I didn't know too much about it, other than it involves a magic and kind of clans and these kind of like different factions of society. Not divergent style, they're just different areas of society, not different classes, they're just different areas with different magical powers and abilities. And it's actually, the country which this book is set in is ruled by a queen, and it's a queendom, which is just one of the best things. And the camps are run by matriarchs, and it's just I really like that side of it. It's definitely got a lot of feminist undertones, which I really liked, and that made me really love it. And I really love the 2 main characters, and yeah, just can't wait to carry on with the rest of the series. And then the book I read after that was such a disappointment, and it was We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. And this got so much hype when it first came out because it was published in the UK by Hotkey Books, and they did this massive publicity for it, and I just was really let down by it. I think I was expecting this massive twist at the end, and I think the twist makes sense and it was a good twist, but I just it wasn't my favourite thing I've ever read, so I only gave it 3 stars, and I just was a bit underwhelmed by it, really. I was expecting big things, and I just didn't think it lived up to the hype that it received. And then the book I read after that was Beautiful Oblivion by Jamie Maguire, and this is the book in the Travis Maddox Brothers series that Jamie Maguire started with Walking Disaster. I really disliked Walking Disaster. Really regretted reading it and buying it because I had a lot of issues with the relationship in the book, and I'm really glad to say that I enjoyed Beautiful Oblivion a little bit more. I only still gave it 3 stars, but I didn't have as many problems with the relationship. It had a really good twist at the end, and I just liked the characters a lot more than I did in her first book. Then the final book I read in September was The Tea Rose by Jennifer Donnelly, and this is an epic historical book set in between kind of late Victorian, well, it's not even Victorian, it's kind of Edwardian London and New York. and it's set over a very kind of 15-year time period with lots of different characters. It's about 800 pages long, and I quite enjoyed this. It was a 3-star read again. I didn't really love it, but I enjoyed it and I read it quickly, and it was a very fun, entertaining read. So I would recommend it if you want something kind of light but want something kind of learning about history as well, because I definitely did learn some history things from it, which is always a good thing. So those are all the books that I read in September. This has been such a long wrap up, and I apologise for being ill. It's just the time of year, it's getting darker, it's actually really sunny right now, but it's just horrible. It's just horrible weather right now, and I'm just so ill. I don't even know why I'm filming this video. But anyway, love you guys, and I will see you for my next video. Bye!